Okay, Intel Alder Lake has been out now for about a month or so, and if you have seen some of my reviews of the i9 or i5, I'm not sure if i5 review is out yet, but they are super impressive in terms of performance. But because it's quite a new platform, everything's new. By everything I mean like hardware, software, OS system, everything is new for it. There is also a few issues that come with a new platform and the new adopters issues and things like that. So if you're a creator and you're thinking about moving on to Intel's 12th gen, then there's a few things we need to talk about before you jump ship. So let's talk. But before that, thanks Whokeys for sponsoring this video. So as you can see here, Whokeys is running a little bit of a deal situation here during the holiday times. They have the Windows 10 Pro license here on a sale. So as you can see, the deal is here on December 14th till January 3rd. And at the moment, the price is $21.22. But when we go to the shopping cart and you actually want to purchase this license, make sure that you put in the code TN20, then you actually get 30% off. As you can see, boom, applied, look at that. Now the price is $14.85. So if you're looking to purchase a Windows 10 license or Windows 11, the funny thing is that I actually have purchased a few licenses from here before, and I remembered, I've got this Windows 11 machine over here. If you haven't seen the Z690 Pro Art build, maybe it's coming out actually after this video, but basically I thought, my Windows is not licensed. I wonder if the Windows 10 key actually works, because someone commented on my earlier video that I did about the Whokeys, and they said that this license actually works on Windows 11 as well. So I thought I'm gonna give it a try, and I did, and I actually licensed the Windows. If I go to activation settings over here, you can see that my Windows 11 Pro is active with the same key as Windows 10. So I'm not sure if this is supposed to work like that, but it did work for me, so give it a try if you want to do that. But if you didn't know, you can actually upgrade your Windows 10 to Windows 11 for free. So if you want to get a licensed Windows 11 for sure, then just install Windows 10 first and then upgrade it to Windows 11 through the Whokeys license key, and then boom, you've got a licensed Windows 11. Another thing they're on a sale on is the Office license. So if you want a Microsoft Office, this key here will get you activated. So let's add this one into the basket as well. We're going to go to shopping cart over here. As you can see, this one is $21.22. If we go proceed to checkout, and then I want to add another code over here, TN20. Let's see what happens. Boom, look at that. Our Microsoft Office went from $60 to $42, which is absolutely crazy. So if you want an absolute bargain on Windows 10 or Microsoft Office, then check out Whokeys. I'm going to leave those links in the description below. So then, the issues then about the 12th gen. First of all, there's some software issues, and then there's some hardware issues. But on top of that, I'm not sure if you did know this, but actually Intel managed to pull off this crazy stunt. They actually managed to get Microsoft make a whole new operating system just for their CPU. So basically the Windows 11 is all about, you know, the big and small core architecture that Intel has on the 12th gen. But that wasn't like a deal before, because Microsoft said that the Windows 10 is going to be the last operating system they're going to do and they don't need a new one. But here we are. We have a Windows 11, and that's a lot because of the Intel's 12th gen. So if you find some issues, it's because the whole operating system is new. Not just the hardware and software, the whole operating system is new. And when I was doing my testing, like on the 12th gen between Windows 11 and Windows 10, not sure if you've seen the reviews, go check out the 12900K review, for example. In my testing, I found that Windows 10 was still faster in all of the benchmarks apart from After Effects on Windows 10 rather than Windows 11. So Windows 11 still has some issues, and there's a lot of updates coming on and BIOS updates and everything else. So if you come to the new platform, there might be some Windows issues. Like I'm using the Windows over here. Sometimes the Windows does just like funny things over here, and when I'm using these programs, it just doesn't work. Second thing is the software, like software optimization, like Adobe. If you're a creator, obviously, because we're focusing on creators when you're doing this build, because for a creator, like one of the main things is stability of the system, because as a creator you're most likely earning your living with the computer you're using. So if the whole system and the experience is not stable, it just makes you pull out your hair and go back to your old system, old, you know, way that actually worked. Might be a little bit slower, but overall time it's still going to be better rather than just having a system that crashes and you lose your workflow and you have to do stuff again. It's ridiculous. Like, I was editing this video, I can't remember which video it was, and my Windows just kept crashing because of like the DDR5 RAM stability issues. I'm gonna tell you about that in a moment more. But basically, I did this one section of the video because the Adobe didn't save my program. I did it like 3 or 4 times, and believe me, just let me know if you can like relate to this. It's just the most demotivating thing in the world to do the same thing again just because you lost the progress of it. Anyway, so all the software things have to make optimization of this hardware as well. Make sure that it works with Windows 11 and the hardware, the big and small core, to make optimization. I can see that Adobe released like a new version of Premiere Pro and all the different programs. But one of the things that they mentioned on Premiere Pro update, the latest one, 22.1.1, was that there's a lot of stability and performance improvements with the processors or systems that run Intel integrated graphics. So because of the new integrated graphics in there, it has some media encoders inside, or decoders as well. So basically some of the footage can be decoded and stuff on there. I think all of this gets optimized and things. It's just like a new thing, you know, everything's new. So there's some crashes and things like that. So my Adobe, sometimes I'm using the latest version of the Premiere Pro when I was trying to edit this to make this video and give you some feedback. I had some crashes and weird things like optimization issues as well. So if you can still stick with the Premiere Pro, you know, 15.8.4 or whatever the last version, 2021 version was, because the 22 version is still a little bit buggy, especially on Windows 11 and the 12th gen hardware DDR5. If you're thinking about switching and expecting a completely issue-less workflow and completely smooth sailing, you might encounter some things. So let me know if you're one of those people who already run the 12th gen. I would love to know from you, like, any of your experience. If you're a very experienced thing, just give people some advice in the description below, or share some of your experience that you've had some issues or stability issues, or maybe some problems you've even solved. Help us out. Let's meet in the comment section below. Then another thing that you need to consider is the RAM issue. Basically, there's DDR5 and DDR4 now, which means that you have to decide which kind of direction you're going to go when choosing the platform, because you can't get a motherboard that supports both. And the issue with DDR5 is that there's no availability of DDR5. You can find some graphics cards at scalper prices, but DDR5 is worse at the moment. Now it's going to get better because the whole, you know, manufacturing of DDR4 and stuff is going to move on to DDR5 and everything's going to be DDR5. But at this point in time, the early adopters are going to have a big issue on DDR5 availability. And if you find some scalper prices, they're ridiculously priced. So you're going to have to pay about $1,000 or more if you want 64 gigabytes or 4 sticks. It's ridiculous. But then at the same time, DDR4 is very cheap. So if you want to go with a DDR4 platform, the thing is, only the high-end motherboards are DDR5. So if you want those features on the motherboard, you'll have to stick with DDR5. But DDR4 motherboards are a few steps down and not so like good for creators and stuff like that. So if you want to save a little bit of money, you might have to let go of some of the nicer like motherboard features, like some Thunderbolt ports or 10 gigabit Ethernet and stuff like that. So there isn't like a perfect motherboard for creators for DDR4. Now there is the best one. I've like done all the research, looked like which one is the best one. So if you want to check this out, go check out my review on the Gigabyte Aero G DDR4 version, which is the best motherboard at the moment, feature for DDR4 platform. So there's this thing for you to consider as well. While we're on the DDR5 issues, let's also talk about the DDR5 issues, because I've had absolutely plenty. Now, I started testing my DDR5 system the beginning of October, like around 5th or something like that. I got my early samples. And I've been testing this, and there's been a lot of BIOS updates, a lot of software updates, everything. And DDR5 at the moment is such a fragile thing. It is not running super smooth, and there's a few issues I counted. They put me in touch with some of the technicians in the HQ of Kingston, and I got an answer from them because there was just some issues that it just wasn't working. The system wasn't stable, and no matter what. So basically, when you have 4 sticks of DDR5, in most of the cases, running an XMP on 4 sticks on DDR5 is not really an option right now. Kingston said that they had some like versions of motherboards and some samples running 4 sticks of XMP in some cases, but basically the general golden rule right now is if you have 4 sticks of DDR4, the XMP is not going to work. Basically, like in my system, you might have seen me use like 4 sticks of DDR5, a Kingston Fury Beast, and the 64 gigabytes altogether, because a lot of my benchmarks use more than 32 gigabytes of RAM. So I didn't want my system to be capped by the capacity or bottlenecked by the capacity of the RAM. So that's why I managed to get 2 sets of like 32 gigabyte sets. So basically 2 together, you know, we have 4 sticks of 64 basically. And even though I managed to complete the benchmarks, earlier BIOS versions, I even managed to complete them with 5200 megahertz. But then like later version of BIOS, I managed to complete the benchmarks at 4800 megahertz. When I'm actually using this, when I try to do like real world usage with editing video on there, then the system just kept crashing and crashing and crashing. I was just pulling my hair out, and I thought, what is the matter over here? I don't really know like why is it working with the benchmarks yet. Like when I'm actually working on it, it just crashes. And sometimes it's just like the system's just sitting idle. It just doesn't do anything, and then boom, blue screens, and the error codes were different. And then basically what we found out is it doesn't work with 4 sticks of RAM. So I'm having to run them at the like non-XMP profiles at the moment. It's like 4000 megahertz rather than 4800 or 5200 megahertz. And it's the same for you. They actually listed in the very fine print of even the Asus Z690 ProArt motherboard page and Kingston as well, that the XMP profiles like vary between the motherboards and things like that. So if you get the DDR5, you might want to get DDR5 that's just like the very simple ones, like something from Crucial or Team Group that doesn't have heat sinks or nothing, just like simple DDR5 with no XMPs on, and just run them that if you need the motherboards, you know, features that have DDR5, because most likely you're not going to be able to run the DDR5 at XMP with 4 sticks of capacity, or try to get 2 sticks of capacity, but that is quite rare as well because there isn't a 32 gigabyte modules available as much. So that's the problem over there. I just want to share this DDR5 issue for you, and I've had to like kind of update this on some of the my other reviews where I'm using DDR5. But basically, that's that. Especially if you're a creator and you want to run 128 gigabytes of RAM, let's say you do a lot of like After Effects, for example, that can use up all the RAM, and you want DDR5 and all these features. I don't think there is 128 gigabyte RAM kit even available at the moment. So you'll have to wait for this to come in the next year and so on. So if you decide to go with Intel Alder Lake and you're maybe like very high-end creator, then just really look into the RAM like issues and RAM kind of capacity at first and see if it's really worth it, because there is some stability issues here with the 12th gen, especially with DDR5 and XMPs, like I mentioned before. So just a little talking head video here. I wanted to just have a chat with you and share like my experience that I have found so far on the 12th gen. If you're one of those people who already run the 12th gen, let me know in the comment section below what's your experience been like, and I'd love to hear from you. Likes if you enjoyed it, subs if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you next time. Thanks guys for watching. Bye bye.